G'day, and welcome back to Steve's Tesla. I've had the Tesla Model Y for about 9 months now, and that's given me the opportunity to experience what I like and what I dislike about the vehicle. So I've got a fairly long list. I'm going to run through it with you now. So let's get started. Mind you, there are a few things I don't miss. One of them being the price of petrol. It's over $2.20 a litre now. It used to cost me about $120 to fill my old ICE car, and that would get me about 500 kilometres range. With the Tesla, I'm able to charge for about $15 at home for the same range, or even get close to zero if I can use the solar. When I'm on the road on a road trip, using a fast supercharger, it's more expensive, and it can be $30 or $40 to put that same 500 kilometres of range in the car. But overall, I think I'm saving about $4,000 a year. But I've got quite a long list of things I don't like about this Tesla Model Y. I am frustrated about having to wait for the full self-drive software. I've been waiting about 3 years now, firstly with the Tesla Model 3 that I had for about 2 years, and the last 9 months with the Tesla Model Y, where I purchased the full self-drive software as part of this vehicle purchase. Now I appreciate there's a lot of people around the world been waiting on full self-drive an awful lot longer than I have. And Elon Musk has been promising delivery of full self-drive now for 5 years in a row, I believe. I do think we are getting closer to having full self-drive capability in Australia, however, because there are news reports that the software is being tested in Australia and will ultimately go through regulatory compliance so that it can be activated in Australia, as it is in the United States and Canada, I believe. One of the other things that's somewhat annoying about owning an electric vehicle in Australia is that the price of cars is still somewhat expensive. Sadly, our previous governments sat on their hands for about 10 years, and so we're well behind in the adoption of electric vehicles in Australia. There's only recently our new government has introduced the prospect of fuel efficiency standards, which is going to lead to increased competitiveness in Australia and additional new lower cost electric vehicles coming on the market. We saw recently at the Everything Electric show that there are a number of new electric vehicles available in Australia. I haven't seen them in wide use yet, but it does look like we're getting a few more models becoming available in 2024. We took the MG4 out for a test drive, and that vehicle is priced at $39,000 plus on-road costs. So it's starting to get to the same sort of price as a petrol vehicle. All new technologies go through a stage where it's slow at first, and then you get mass market uptake and things really take off. And we're just starting to see that in Australia. So there's a crossover point coming, and in about 2025 the price of ICE vehicles and the price of electric vehicles will be very, very similar. All the data was showing that the value of an ICE vehicle will absolutely plummet after about 2035. So I made a video called "When Will Your ICE Vehicle Be Worthless?" I then made a subsequent follow-up video called "I Was Wrong, Your ICE Vehicle Will Be Worthless Sooner," where the data is showing that at 2030 the value of a new ICE vehicle will basically plummet when you drive it out of the showroom door. I've still got quite a few things on my list that I dislike about the Tesla Model Y. I chose the black chrome delete door handles on the Tesla Model Y because I just thought they looked better, especially with the black wheels that I also chose. What I found, however, is that they can be very difficult to see in the dark. What they really need is just some LED lighting that comes on when it's dark, just around the edge of the handle. Another item I've found that I dislike about the Tesla Model Y are the automatic wipers. Now, unlike every other car manufacturer that incorporates some form of rain sensor, Tesla used the full self-drive vision system to see the rain. So it does lead to the occasions where wipers will come on for no reason whatsoever when it's not raining. And it's also a bit of a challenge sometimes for the wipers to match the speed of the rain. So you have to override it and use the manual system to get the wiper speed going. They do say that this is something that'll be fixed in an upcoming software release, however. The Tesla Model Y is certainly quiet, even on highways. It just sails along, and when you accelerate, it's awe-inspiring. It's one of the reasons they say that new electric vehicle owners often wear through their tyres faster than they used to with their ICE vehicles. Typically it's because we're showing our friends how fast these things can accelerate. They say the second set of tyres you wear out at a far more reasonable pace. But I'm still working my way through this long list of things I dislike about the Tesla Model Y. And enhanced autopilot, don't get me wrong, when it works it's fantastic, and it really does give you near autonomous driving when you're on highways and open roads. But it is subject to things like phantom braking, where the vehicle will sense or see a shadow, or when you're going under an overpass and it decides that's a good time to brake. I know they're working on these issues, and we do get over-the-air software updates nearly every month, and some of these do include improvements to enhanced autopilot. But really what I'm waiting for is the full self-driving software, and that'll fix all of these things. Charging the vehicle is interesting. When I bought my first Tesla Model 3 in 2021, there were barely any public chargers available where I live, and the ones that were available were in the mall and they were slow. In that time, since then, we've had the installation by BP of their Pulse chargers, NRMA have local chargers, Ampol have chargers in their service stations, and the New South Wales government's on a program to install 30,000 public electric vehicle chargers throughout the state. So there's no shortage of chargers. We also have a Tesla supercharger nearby. So the problem now is not finding a charger or that it's slow. The problem is that it's actually too fast. When I've been driving solidly for 3 or 4 hours and the vehicle needs a charge, I want to stop, I want to have a toilet break and something to eat and just a bit of a break. But if you take the Tesla into a supercharger and you've got, say, 20% battery left, and you charge it up to, say, 80%, that whole process can take maybe only 15 minutes. And that's just not long enough to have a toilet break, get a coffee and get a sandwich. I really want 30 or 40 minutes. And if you stay too long, you'll get a notification on your watch or on your mobile phone to say that idle fees are going to apply if you don't get up and move the car. So the frustration is you have to get up from your lunch, you have to go and disconnect the vehicle and go and move it. So supercharging is not always what you want. Sometimes you actually want a medium speed charger just so you can relax for a little while. It certainly is convenient to be able to charge at home. I do appreciate not everyone has a garage or off-street parking, but for those of us who do, it certainly is very convenient. And like 50% of Australians who own electric vehicles, I do less than 100 kilometres a day, so I'm able to charge the vehicle overnight at home just using a standard 10 amp 3-pin plug. If I were to do more than 100 kilometres a day, I will need a faster charger. Anyway, back to my long list of things that I dislike about my Tesla Model Y. One of the minor dislikes I have about the Tesla Model Y, and it was the same for the Tesla Model 3, is that after having spent a lot of money on this car, you then have to buy accessory trays for the center console because it doesn't come with anything. And now these things are only $30, but it just seems ridiculous to me that Tesla don't include those as part of the car. Like many vehicles these days, the Tesla doesn't come with a spare wheel. So to be safe, you really need to have a portable pump and a sealant. I bought an accessory from Tesla for about $140 and I've never had to use it. Touch wood. I've still got quite a few things on my list that I dislike about the Tesla Model Y. One of them is premium connectivity. This is the data plan that Tesla provide with their vehicles. It costs $10 a month and it gives me all of the data I need for high resolution Google Maps and streaming services such as Spotify and podcasts. and also enables me when I stop for a charge to watch Netflix or YouTube. But the issue I have is where I live on the coast, it can be a bit patchy, so there are times where you're waiting for the connectivity service to reconnect. Mind you, I don't miss the service costs though. With my old ICE vehicle, I used to put it in for service, and it would cost about $300 to $400 for labour, plus oil, spark plugs and any other parts it might need. And this was every 10,000 kilometres, which in my case was about twice a year. The Tesla Model Y, the service requirement, the first service is at 2 years, where they do check the brake pads. And then the next service is at 3 years, where they change the filter in the air conditioning unit. Other than that, plus tyres and wiper blades, there are no service requirements at all. Despite this long list of things I dislike about the Tesla Model Y, one of the things I really do like is the heat pump air conditioning system. We recently went to an open air movie for electric vehicles only, and we sat for over 2 hours watching the movie, eating some pizza and listening to the soundtrack coming through the Tesla's sound system.
I have another job for you. So what we got?
Greg Simmons.
It's a billionaire arms dealer.
Oh, a lot of very serious faces up here, aren't there?
You can't catch this fish with conventional lures.
And we had the air conditioning running constantly at a comfortable 20 degrees. And at the end of the 2.5 hours or so, the range of the vehicle had decreased only about 4 kilometres. Now, in an ICE vehicle, I just don't think you could run your engine for 2 hours solid, or if you ran your air conditioning off the 12-volt battery, I think that battery would go flat. Anyway, back to my long list of things I dislike about my Tesla Model Y. And then there's the touchscreen. Sure, it looks sleek and futuristic, but it can be dangerous to fiddle with this while you're driving. So I made a video explaining how you can use enhanced autopilot to make for safer driving before you start touching the touchscreen. At first I thought I would miss the physical buttons as I had in my ICE car, but it doesn't take long before you get used to using the touchscreen, and of course you've got voice commands like this. Play Jimmy Barnes. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, drive safe and stay electric. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. G'day and welcome to Steve's Tesla. This is my channel dedicated to electric vehicles and renewable energy. Subscribe now and let's drive.